We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Tuesday, April 14th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Cheska.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday. And also, Wonbin's with us.
Thank you for having me.
For coming in, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're into day 2 of the work week, and we're starting with a topic that might just get your heart racing. So today we're diving into a topic that's always on people's minds, especially during the spring season: love, dating, and everything in between. So to kick things off, Cheska, what matters most to you when you're choosing a partner?
I love the opening with everything that's on people's mind when it comes to spring season. Yes, we're all wearing pink, except Wonbin.
Did not get the memo today, but it's okay.
To show love. But I think this is such an interesting topic that all of our viewers might relate, that can go on for hours. But for me, I have a very interesting kind of trait when it comes to selecting a partner. I look for as many similarities as possible, because over the years I try to become my own ideal type. So a lot of the things, I even made a list and I said I want to become a girl version of that. So I try to find someone who shares a lot of my own values, traits, life visions. And yes, differences are great, but I like to focus more on similarities and kind of build upon that. Yeah, that's the kind of partner
What's
that I'm
like
looking
one trait that's really important to you that you also embody, that you want to see in your partner?
There's so many, but definitely the way they spend their leisure time. So I don't drink, as you guys know, and I don't smoke, so I really like to work out. So I really love someone who's kind of lets their stress out through physical activity.
Oh, in a healthy way.
Yeah, in a healthy
That's
way.
a good one.
Yeah.
What about you, Wonbin?
Just a heads up today, I will try my best to be honest in terms of my
that's
opinions.
good.
And
I'm honest.
yeah, and if you're asking me for the short answer, I will have to say appearance for now. But
we are being honest today.
Yes. But if you give me a chance to explain, right? It's not the most important thing, but it's more like a prerequisite for me, because me personally, if I don't find someone attractive in terms of appearance or the visuals, no matter what their personality or what they are in the inside, it's quite difficult for me to find them attractive as a person or as a girl. So for me, there's more explanations that I would like to make, but for the short answer, it will have to be appearance.
And to play the devil's advocate, not to call you a devil, but appearance is the first thing you see.
Yes,
so
yes,
that
is
It's
true.
almost like a screen test, right? You first have to
Right.
pass it, then to move on to the next one.
Yes, thank you.
True. And I think, you know what, a lot of people can relate to what Wonbin said. So it sounds like appearance is more of an initial filter, but what really keeps you interested would still come down to personality and connection. So we're going to talk more about this, but first, let's take a look at the screen. Spring is in the air, and the warm, bright weather is bringing people out and ready to make new connections. As dating trends continue to evolve, so do the expectations and priorities that come with them. Today on News Generation, we take a closer look at what young people value most in a relationship, how Gen Z is approaching dating in new ways, and what really matters most on a blind date. Just as we saw in a video, there really seems to be something about spring that nudges people toward romance, and apparently even science backs it up. So do you feel more like dating when spring comes around, Jessica?
I definitely think so, because have you guys all seen how beautiful the weather is?
Yes.
The way the cherry blossom falls, and the way the sun shines on the flowers. I feel like it's the entire season is setting a K-drama stage for people to just feel or fall in love. But just beyond how we feel and how beautiful the weather looks, the stats actually back this up. So according to a survey done for Korean single millennials and Gen Z, almost 40% said their desire to date increases in the spring, and 61% said spring is the best season for romance. And there's actually some science behind it, because as the weather gets warmer and daylight increase, there's this very happy hormone called the serotonin that rises, making us feel more emotionally open and even more likely to fall in love. So I think getting a lot of sun and seeing a beautiful flower is definitely one way to make us feel happier and more loving.
And that's a great way to put it. It really does feel like spring turns everyday life into almost a romantic scene. And it's interesting how it's not just a vibe, but something that's backed by both data and science. So with all of that in mind, so when it comes to actually choosing a partner, what do you think matters most to Gen Zs these days when they're looking for a partner?
Yeah, so our standards, our as in Gen Z, is actually quite different from the previous millennials generation's perspective. And obviously this may vary by person and everyone is different, but statistically, the millennials had a very clear defined standards. Men prioritize the appearance of the girl and women prioritize the financial stability of a man. And however, the Gen Zs, if you look at the Gen Z standards, it's actually quite different and it's quite complicated, and I'm thinking of a way to describe this the best, and I think the best word that I can think of right now is that they are more passive. There are a few terms that Gen Z uses that actually reflect certain characteristics of dating, such as shrekking and monkey barring. Shrekking, as I try my best to describe it, is when relationship balance is tipped to one side, depending on someone's weight in attractiveness. So if a partner appears to be more attractive, the other partner is willing to do more. And monkey barring is when someone doesn't actually break up with another person until they find another alternative. So it seems like being passive and not actively making big decisions is what these trends have in common.
So it sounds like it's less about fixed standards, more about how someone makes you feel in the relationship. So now let's put that to all of this to a test with a quick would you rather on dating. So we'll see what you, Wonbin and Jessica, are actually valuing when you guys are looking for someone to date.
Yeah.
So to just start us off, would you rather date someone in depth but very good looking or someone rich but not as attractive?
So I think this was the most difficult part of preparing for the episode. I think as we're being honest here, I've always said that physical appearance and attractiveness is, quote, the laziest quality of ours. Because it is something that we did not do anything to sort of earn or kind of gain. So appearance tells me not much about the person in general to begin with. Therefore, in the true extreme choices, being in debt or with a large sum of wealth, I chose wealth because at least I think that can translate into financial prudence, how to manage money, how to manage their portfolio. So that's the one I chose.
I mean, that goes well with the data that Wonbin talks about how like women do value financial stability. That's something like an important trait. So Wonbin, what about you?
For me, I would choose the good-looking person who is in debt because, again, to speak freely, when you are like world-class handsome or world-class pretty, I believe that the financial burdens or the money problems are actually quite small. It's not a big deal because in terms of money, I'm not saying money is everything, but in terms of money, when you're good-looking, you can get a lot of good opportunities, such as being an actor, model, there's social media, and there are a lot of ways for you to utilize the appearance and the visuals that you have. So when you are a world-class, good-looking person, being in debt is not a big deal.
So it's not just about that they're actually pretty or good-looking. It's a practical thing.
Yes, it's quite practical.
Looks are also capital.
Susan, I think this is getting interesting. Give us the next question. Yeah.
Okay. Would you date someone wealthy but not very knowledgeable or smart but a bit broke? His wallet's a bit light. How do you feel about that?
I would have to choose. This one was really hard, but I would have to choose. So being not knowledgeable is okay, but I would choose smart and broke because for me, conversation is really important. So if there's a certain level that the conversation can't get intellectually, then I think I find it very difficult to connect with the person.
Well, it's a bit different from what you just said earlier. So financial stability isn't always like a must-have.
It's not, but a conversational intellectual capacity is a must.
So that's not something you would compromise. I mean, a
can't.
good conversation goes a long way.
It does.
I
It makes
do.
the person very attractive.
It's true. It's very true. What about you?
Well, for me, I choose the other answer, who is wealthy but not quite smart. And it's not because it's wealthy, and this is a little bit personal. So to explain it, for me, personally, I like to explain things. When someone doesn't know anything, doesn't know something, I love to help them to learn it and explain it. So for me, it's actually a pretty attractive personality for me. And that plus being wealthy is just a beautiful bonus.
Yeah.
So it was actually an easy answer for me.
Oh, I think that's a really good quality that you have. Like, you know, it's so not you can't always know everything.
Yes.
And
Some people find explaining annoying, but for me, it's quite enjoyable.
Gotcha.
So.
See, okay. So the last one is, would you rather date someone very attractive who makes constant spelling mistakes? So when you're texting them, they keep on making these spelling errors. or someone less attractive you can have intelligent conversations with, which I think I can guess what you're going to say.
I think this one was pretty easy for me. Again, spelling errors, it's fine, but I call this the conversational frequency. So if a person cannot match me in terms of the depth, the variety, and the value in terms of our conversations, and the frequency doesn't match, it's impossible for me to feel the spark. And I've had actually real life experiences where I've had gorgeous men in front of me and I just flatlined. I would feel nothing. And it was the most heartbreaking thing because they're so beautiful. But I think conversation is a lens to see how each other see, interpret, and envision our present and future. So for me, conversational depth is something I cannot compromise.
So I guess that is the most important.
Most
thing,
important.
Being able to really talk to someone and interact.
And also go in depth because then I grow, right? So having a partner that helps you grow is a catch.
That is very important. So what about you, Wonbin?
For me, making typos, spelling mistakes, it's when you're, again, a world-class, both for men and women, a world-class hottie.
I feel like that should be our hashtag, world-class hottie.
Small typos, spelling mistakes. I think it's gonna seem quite menial for me. So maybe at first when you see the text, you get like an ick. It's like, oh, that's what a typo. But once you see them in person, when you see that big, beautiful, handsome smile, everything is forgiven.
You have to teach English. You can
Yes.
just teach them.
Yeah.
how to spell
Also, the
correctly.
explaining part is cherry on top. So it's an easy answer again for me.
That's so interesting. You can kind of see what we each all value here as well. So I mean, these are really tough questions. Each one really forces you to weigh surface appeal against long-term compatibility. So we also wanted to hear directly from our viewers. So we ran a poll on the Arirang News YouTube channel asking, what is one trait you absolutely cannot compromise on in a partner? And here's what the results showed. A clear majority pointed personality, with 71% choosing it as their top priority. Intelligence followed at 18%, while looks came in at just 8% and wealth trailed at 3%. So the results suggest a strong shift toward valuing emotional connection and compatibility over more traditional or surface level factors, reinforcing the idea that at least for many today, how someone makes you feel matters far more than how they look or how much they earn. And to gain an in-depth perspective, we're going to speak with an international couple. That conversation is coming up right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Park Hye-ji from South Korea and Abe from the US, who have been dating since 2025. So hello, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Hi. So how did the two of you first meet, and what surprised you most about dating someone from a different culture?
So actually it was since 2024. I went to the States for Disney internship program in Florida, and I was there for 6 months at Main Street Confectionery in Magic Kingdom. Confectionery is one of the most popular dessert store in Disney World, and that's where I met A for the first time. We started as co-workers at first, and we just stayed as friends at first because we knew that I'm leaving America very soon in a few months. But eventually we fell in love and we started long distance relationship since even after I came back to Korea, and that's how we are here together. And about as for your next question, actually I don't think our differences are like more cultural. I think it's more personal, honestly. But it's like everyone is different based on how they were raised and their own way of thinking, right? I think we're the same. But if I really had to pick one, I'd say personal space, because I didn't really have no idea about personal space when I was in Korea and being Korean, but he values it a lot. And I kind of learned it while I was in the US, and now I think it's really important as well.
Thank you so much for sharing your love story. It makes me want to also fall in love. But I've also lived in different countries, and as you said, culture also plays a big role. So how do dating trends in your country compare to those of Korea?
Well, I feel like in the US, for the most part, dating is more casual and not as serious nowadays. And I feel like most countries kind of follow that trend, at least developing and well-developed countries do. And I feel like Korea, for example, people are starting to be more casual with dating and not looking for marriage or kids, just focused on having fun and enjoying themselves. And personally, I think it's important to know what you want when you're looking to date, and not play around with people's feelings, like how you guys were talking about monkey barring, for example. Yeah, that happens a lot, sadly, nowadays, and in the US especially, from my experiences and what I hear from my friends. And it's the wrong direction to go, in my opinion.
All right, and last question for you guys. What's your favorite thing about your partner, and what's one piece of relationship advice that you guys would like to share?
You want to go first?
My favorite thing about my partner is her cooking. I mean, her smile. Both.
Wow. My favorite about him is how the way he treats me. He treats me like an actual baby. Sometimes he treats me like a daughter, and I love the way he treats me in that way all the time. I feel so loved, and I think it's really important in relationship to make me feel secure and feel stable. And about relationship advice, what do you think is important?
I think honesty is really important in a relationship. Being honest with your partner. You don't want to have a relationship where you're not being honest with each other, in my opinion.
Yeah. And for me, I think communication is one of the most important key. If you don't talk to each other properly, then you don't know what your partner is thinking. And you're just going to keep argue and never find a solution. So I think communication is really important.
I mean, I think we can all really sense that special bond that you guys have. You guys also look really cute together as well. And I can see
Thank
why.
you.
If you're saying honesty and communication, I think they're both really important. I can see that's why we probably were able to really feel that bond between you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Good to have you. So we just heard from an international couple about what surprised them most about dating someone from another culture, how dating trends in their countries compare, as well as relationship advice. So even if your people are dating, the way people are meeting are actually clearly evolving fast. So what new ways are Gen Zs using to start relationships, to meet people?
So this is something interesting. So first off, not many young people are actually dating. So according to the one report, only about 30 to 40% of single millennials and Gen Z in Korea are currently dating. Now that being said, our generation do try new approaches. I think a lot of people know about blind dates, 소개팅 in Korea, which is still very popular, where friends introduce acquaintances. But now there is something called group rotating dating that has been on the rise.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's a group setting of anywhere from like 10 to any large number of people, and you rotate partners every 10 minutes. And it's like you have one-to-one conversations and maybe a buzzer goes on and then you shift to the
So
next.
it's like speed networking a bit, speed dating?
Exactly, because what I was just about to say was I actually saw this in New York, real time, and it feels like a very casual job interview. But I think Gen Zs love it because it's time saving, but also you don't feel as much pressure because you move on to the next person after a quick conversation. So less pressure, time saving, and you get to meet a lot of people. So I think it's like a Gen Z dating scene.
I guess it's a way to filter out people fast too. If you're meeting 10 people, the chance of you meeting someone you kind of vibe with, I guess, increases a bit.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to like quickly check if you click or not click. So I think that's sort of the new trend.
Do you think you'll be able to see if you have chemistry with someone in 10 minutes?
I don't know about chemistry, but I would be able to say, ooh, I want to talk to this person a little bit more.
Yes.
Or be like, I think we're done here.
I see. So, I mean, now it feels like dating is becoming more organized, a bit more structured. It almost feels like being on a TV program. So, what are some other ways that people are meeting people?
Many organizations and even religions are hosting dating programs that imitate the love reality TV shows. For example, 조개 Temple or 조개사 hosted 나는 절로, which is people who know should know. It's named after a popular Korean love reality show, and Seoul is hosting 설렘 in 한강, which means love in Han River.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, so as I said before, it seems like they all lower the bars of entering the dating market like we just discussed. So it allows people to be less direct and more passive.
So it's not just about how people meet, but also how selective they're becoming before even starting to date. So speaking of, so what are some deal breakers people now check on before the first date, Jessica?
Yeah, so I think this is very interesting. So according to a recent survey, 52% of Korean millennials and Gen Z say they would not date someone with different political views. Now, in the past, I think politics was something couples might gradually try to navigate or sometimes not even think or try to bring to surface. Because I remember even my parents, over dinner conversations, they would have polarizing political views, but they still got married, right? But nowadays, young people probably realize how difficult it can be and try to identify it early and avoid a relationship when their views don't align. And even matchmaking agency also report a noticeable shift, saying that in recent years, more clients are asking to actually screen a potential partner beforehand if the political views are a mismatch. So the relation doesn't even begin. Yeah.
I guess because with social media being so active, like more young people are so involved in politics as well.
You're absolutely right. And one of the characteristics of our generation is that we're very proactive when it comes to global issues, right?
Right.
So I think when those views don't align, I think it's very difficult to envision a future together with a partner. Yeah.
Right. So what are some other than values?
Yeah, so speaking of being global, global warming and one's eco-friendliness is apparently also important. And some people break up or end up not dating someone because they think someone is too wasteful and not eco-friendly. And people also pretend to be eco-friendly in order to give a good impression to the other person, even though they are not in reality. I guess we can call that as a form of greenwashing in some ways. So I think it's safe to say that the dating trends and the preference of Gen Zs has changed a lot compared to a decade or two ago.
So it's clear from our conversation today that dating may be evolving, but at its core, it's still about finding someone you genuinely connect with. Whether it's looks, personality, or shared values, it seems like priorities are shifting, but the search for real connection hasn't changed. And as we've seen today, there's no one right answer when it comes to love, just what feels right for you. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Jessica.
Pleasure's always mine. Thank you.
And also Wonbin.
Thank you again.
Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And hopefully your next date is a green flag and not a compromise between looks and personality and wealth. We are
News Generation.